All right, let's get started. Marka, Echo, what's up? Good to see you. Let's... Oh, Marco with the resub. Thank you so much for the 3 months. That's actually impressive. Yeah, so I'm gonna be working a little bit on Dichotomy today. Basically ended up fixing one of the performance problems with it earlier today, and now I'm gonna be doing some axe work. Missed most of the game jam due to work. How was it all? It was incredibly fun. It was so much more fun than the last lot on there, and I think that game ended up being a lot better. I don't have anything better to spend it on. And hydrate, of course. But no, actually, the jam was a lot of fun. People seem to be enjoying the game for the most part, which is good. But yeah, either way, the more fun due to more engine features, or to be able to play around with, or more freedom. I don't know, it was more fun because, first of all, I think we just had better teamwork in general, because we now have more experience as a team. Plus, the game was just a lot more interesting compared to something like Forest. Engine features, there were some features that really shine through that we didn't have last time. But yeah. Okay, so currently, if I just build real quick, we open up Hazelnut. There's a slight issue with the axe, with the axis in the game. Well, it's not actually an issue with the axis, it's just a thing that we forgot that's related to them. What's the plan for the game now? Polish it to a finished state. Pretty much, get the game as polished as possible in terms of just fixing stuff, because we can't add new gameplay. because that's not allowed. Fix bugs, performance issues, make sure everything works as intended, which there's one thing here that isn't working as intended that I'm gonna be fixing. And then, yeah, just hope it gets a decent rating, which right now I think it's looking sort of good. The whole Let 'em Dare meta game is a hell of a thing, though. We basically have to... This is a weird bug that I've found. Frequently when I load up, the main menu doesn't have its script fields set for some reason. I'm not actually sure why that is. Are there plans for in-engine Steamworks integration in the future? I don't know. Steamworks is an interesting beast because I think the licensing for the actual lib is not SDK license. I think the license is a bit tricky. From what I remember. But obviously we would want Steam integration when we ship games on Steam at some point. Let's take a look. See if we get... Could not find PDB. Yeah, that's whatever, I don't care. Why isn't it deserializing the script field stuff? Because if I check the scene, I get rid of that auto scene. Under main menu. Wait, what? Stored fields is... Okay, so what happened there? Let's go through and assign everything. Again, because I've already done this a few times. Player. I think it was 36 or 37. Was it 36, 150, 26, I think? Help screen entity there. Camera there. We then do a save. We close. What's up, Frank? Good to see you. Okay, so I am now saved. The data exists. We hit run. Chair Wizard, what's up? It's going good. We have all of that stuff set. So, okay. Sure. Yeah, there's a weird bug with that. And what I'm also gonna do is levels. I'm gonna take, I believe it's I, because that has a lot of levels or a lot of access. Rename it to 0. So that gets loaded first. And I don't remember where the axe is. This is where we really need a debug button. Have you visited the boys in Australia? No. I'd love to do that someday, but it's also expensive. Is this not the level that has tons of access? Guessing maybe not. If it's not, I'm gonna have to... How are you supposed to get over there? Oh no, I think I know which... Yeah, this one doesn't have any access. Okay, there it happened. Because I was getting a bunch of null reference exceptions because the main menu has lost all of its fields. But either way, this was the wrong level. H or G maybe have a lot of access. I could check, but I'm just gonna try that. Because I really do not feel like playing through the entire thing. Yeah, this lost all of its field references when I stopped the runtime. Great. Another bug to debug. You self-taught? Yes, I am. Okay, so here we got a level with access. Well, self-taught, I learned from like Jan's videos and from doing prototyping in Unity. I learned programming pretty much from a lot of places. All right, so Iceburn, thank you so much for following. I don't think this axe can be used. Let's be clever and do this. Wait a little and then go through. Yeah, this doesn't have the right access, I don't think, or at least not the right place for them. Oh, come on. The axes are actually quite difficult to beat, because you have to time the slow motion perfectly. Alright. But the general idea is there's an axe on this tile. And that essentially covers a 3 wide area, right? So if you imagine that this axe is rotated so it's swinging along these, and I basically end up, let me just give an example. We really should have like a reset button that just resets the current level. If this axe is rotated 90 degrees, so it's swinging along here, it will kill you even if you end up on this tile, right? The problem with that is you cannot tell that there's an axe ahead, meaning this looks like a safe tile when in reality it isn't. So me and Tim were talking about it really should be that if you end up on, say, this tile, because this tile is deadly, technically, the axe should be revealed when you land there. So that's basically what I'm gonna be doing. So I'm just trying to think what the logic here is. When we reveal a tile, we have to check if its neighbor is an axe. If it is, we reveal that tile as well. That's effectively it. And I actually wrote a function. Okay, wait, hang on. Yeah, you see, main menu is no longer a valid script apparently, for some reason, which makes no sense. Scene hierarchy panel. Draw component, script component. Put a breakpoint. Okay. Yeah, its instance has been destroyed, which is correct. it has field IDs, because the instance should be destroyed because we're no longer in the runtime. It's valid. So did not actually want to do that. Do Hazel have a particle system, or are you just building it using ECS? Hazel does not have a particle system in the engine right now. Anything that looks like particles is done completely through C# using normal entities. Okay. Why does this return? Okay, no, that's fine. So we come in here, we go through the fields. We can find the actual field, but the storage is null somehow. What is this? Because we remove it from the field map? What? Incorrect scene context set. With 9 scripts active. Okay, that's super weird. Okay, I'm not gonna... You know, I really should debug this now, because it's gonna be super annoying, because every time I stop, I basically either have to do that and reassign everything, or restart the editor, which is gonna be a pain. Okay, so something happens when we shut down. Let's actually debug this properly. It's gonna be annoying, but whatever. Shutdown runtime. Put a breakpoint. Build. And hopefully I'm able to do some game rating after this. After I've done the axe change. And I suspect this is just a simple bug. In the shutdown runtime function. I'm going through, like, I'm just looking at the code here. Well, so that's Yeah, we'll have to have a look at this. Did you manage to get the bridge rotations fixed in the end, or is it... No, both bridges and axes have been fixed, and we have even pushed the update that includes those fixes. The bridge rotations were actually super interesting. Tim fixed that on his stream yesterday. It was super weird. The axe rotation bug was simply we had rotated the prefab itself, so I just had to change that. But yeah, no, otherwise it's fixed. In theory, all I should have to do to trigger this bug is play. Hit enter. Stop. And it should have lost its stuff. So we grab the runtime scene ID, which I think is correct. We check script instances. We have a bunch of them. And supposedly one of these entities does not exist in the scene, or 3 doesn't exist in the scene. We go in here, we shut down runtime instance. That copies the script component, which has the instance we call onDestroy. We go through all of them. We set the runtime instance to null pointer, like so, which is correct. And then we release that. We update and we set them like so. I don't see why this would cause problems. Because if we check state, actually, because it's the field storage thing, I think that's broken, because we call get field storage in script engine. That checks field map, which currently has 7. Hang on a minute. So now it should no longer, yeah, it no longer has them. Let's actually check here. We go in, entity ID is 1488, which, yeah, it doesn't exist. That's fine. I kind of expected that. So 1488 is that. Just gonna take note of that, because I have to check. There. So we access this, the field map. When do we erase? Shut down script entity, and that's it. Okay. Good. Because that way I can just do this. Do a deeper break. Awesome. Really, you have to rebuild that many stuff, that many things? That doesn't look right. Because now I can see that I have to ban a bot. That's what I can see. No, but now we can actually see when that gets called, because that shouldn't be getting called at all when we stop. Because the scene itself shouldn't be doing this from a script? Yeah, we are. We're destroying the main menu. Why is that affecting the editor scene? Why is this affecting the editor? This is happening where? Here. We call entity and scene. that's happening there. Because this calls destroy entity, that means this scene is the editor? Or no, it's not? Wait, so how is this? Erase is true. Oh, I think I know what's happening here, because entity IDs are persistent. Yeah. Okay, I understand the problem here. Basically, if so if we actually want to erase it, I mean, this should presumably only happen in here. But we only want to erase if that happens. And then in scene, we basically only want to erase that stuff if it's the editor scene, I think. I'm pretty sure, because the field map is gonna be the same. Yeah. What do you do? Do you do anything dumb? No, you do exactly what you're supposed to. Good. All right, I think that will have fixed it. And then we can get on to actually doing game stuff. Work with the hydrate. Hang on. Didn't I put a limit on a time limit, a cooldown on hydrate? It's been over 15 minutes. Yeah, but I thought I set it higher. But 15 minutes, all right. Echo redeem stretch. And posture check. All right. Let's see, that's perfectly fine now. So we hit play, enter. Let me stop. Hey, it's been fixed. Yeah, I think that's a proper fix. So, cool. Let's get back to Axis. Basically in scheduled tile animation. Yes. We are gonna want to grab the currently loaded section. Call get tile neighbors with tile X and tile C. That returns tile data array neighbors. Then we basically just want to go through them. Call the neighbor in neighbors. Okay, thanks for getting rid of that. We want to check if neighbor, I think it's trap type. Yes. So left right is, because I actually have to do this properly. If it's left right, No, actually I don't have to do this properly. I just have to check if it is an axe. Do we have any other trap types? No. So if it's not, none. I mean, I should probably explicitly check for axe, although I doubt we'll have it. We can't actually add any more traps during the jam. We want to just schedule tile animation. Do we have? No, we don't. Neighbor translation X file entity translation X, and the same thing for Z, I think. What's the problem? That's the problem. Okay, let's give it a build. And hit play. Let's take it slow. Whoa. Okay. That's the problem. Okay, so it's a couple steps forward. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 3 forward should work. Except not in this case, I don't think. Yeah, actually, it might. 3. This might actually do exactly what... yeah, actually it's gonna do that. Or not? No, actually it did. So you see kind of what I mean. Because if this axe had been rotated and I landed on this, I would have been dead, which isn't fun if you just have no way of countering it. So now we actually reveal 2 tiles ahead if there's an axe there. We could make sure, like, we could check that if it's swinging this direction, then, well, because we can't really check for something like that. I was gonna say maybe if we know that we're heading in this direction and it's swinging in this direction, we reveal 2 tiles ahead. Otherwise we don't. But the thing is, we don't know which direction we're gonna be heading in until it's too late. So we're gonna have to do this. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy with that. What game are you playing at the moment when relaxing? I don't know. I don't really play that many games during my free time. Mostly because I don't know. I just work a lot. So I would like to get back into playing more games during my free time, to be honest. I'm probably gonna be playing some Dichotomy during my free time, and I did find some other legendary games that I kind of want to check out. I don't know, maybe I'm gonna have a go at getting back into like Skyrim and stuff like that. Let's try this in the runtime. What monitor size are you using? Like in terms of actual physical size or resolution? Because I think physical size is... what is it? I don't remember quite. Give me 1 second. I might be able to look it up. Because I think I have it in my order history still. I don't know, actually, do I list it on my Twitch page? Because I might be listing it on my Twitch page. I have a 32-inch monitor. It's the AOX CQ32G1 32-inch curved. Exactly, Frank. Yeah, no worries, Echo. I didn't even know if I'd put it in that section, so... Why does my NordPass open up on my main monitor? That's dumb. At least it doesn't show my passwords, so that's fine. So yeah, that's effectively what we want now. I think if I do runtime, set a startup, it might work, or it might not. Yeah. I think I know why. So I failed to load shader because I'm probably gonna have to set a startup, go in there. First of all, in here, I need to basically have runtime baster. Do a build asset pack. Build shader pack. Build sound bank. Close down. Wait for runtime, set a startup. I don't know that this is actually gonna work. No. Probably because I haven't copied over asset pack, asset registry, audio command registry, sound bank. I need to copy those into here, maybe? Well, at least... No. What am I doing? I need to copy the shader pack. Shader pack. Runtime. Resources. Paste. Okay. Does the asset pack build into a compiled binary or is it plain text? It's binary. Alright, you know what? I'm not gonna try it in the runtime. That's for Jan to do. So let's just do that. but I'm still gonna push my stuff that I've changed. And it was 37, not 36, so let's discard those two. So it's correct. Collider handle doesn't actually matter. Some speed variable that got reset. Okay, so I don't have to commit the scene. Stage that. Yeah, sure, whatever. Stage that and stage that. That. That and that. And don't have to stage that. What does pre-make do in game engines? It's the effectively build. It's the project file generation system. Effectively, it's a build tool, but like pre-make will generate, for example, a Visual Studio solution. It will generate a code blocks project, or it can even generate make files, that sort of stuff, right? Yeah, CMake can generate solution and make files as well. Hang on. Is pre-make better than CMake? I don't know. I don't think there's really a way to objectively tell that. I personally like pre-make better. But it's very much personal preference. There are advantages to CMake. CMake has an advantage in that it's pretty much used by the entire industry, whereas pre-make isn't. But to be honest, I'm fine rewriting CMake files into pre-make. Like, I don't mind that at all. We should maybe consider doing the axe thing here as well. Possibly. Oh yeah, I definitely think pre-make is more human readable because it's actually Lua. It's just straight up Lua. So it's an existing programming language, or well, scripting language maybe. Where CMake basically invented their own language for it. Yeah, exactly, Echo. It comes down to personal preference. Personally, I prefer pre-make. As does the majority of the Hazel team. But other people prefer CMake, and that's fine. So, if I try this, and we go here, I think, we do space. No, here. It would be. Yeah. I'm wondering if we should do that as well. I don't know if I'm gonna push this now, actually, because I may want to talk to Jan and Tim about it. Yeah, I'm not gonna push it. I'm gonna hold off and see what they think. Okay, I actually think that's everything I had to do in terms of that. So maybe we should get on and review some games. I actually did review this game 10 seconds or less earlier today, and it wasn't that good. It has potential, but yeah, wasn't the best. Also, I did Maze Runner, which was actually a semi-decent game. Still on stream when probably never. Last time I did a games play stream, it did not many people seem to want to watch it, so I'm probably not gonna do that. At least not on Twitch. YouTube, maybe. I think YouTube's, I mean, to be honest, like, YouTube in general is better suited for streaming, I think, to some degree, because more people use YouTube. First of all, I'm gonna check out. Okay. Cool. Well, let's have a look. And I don't want to do as many 2D games today. I actually do want to see... Oh, Nimbus Stratus. It's actually doing quite well. I played that yesterday. I kind of don't want to do as many 2D games today. I want to check out some 3D games. Because yesterday there was a lot of 2D games. I mean, in general, there's a lot of 2D games in Let 'em Dare. So, cyclical puzzles, reclaim stolen power and release trapped souls to the stars. A moody puzzle game with a time-stopping mechanic where objects and events follow a repeating 10-second cycle. Can be finished at a relaxed pace in under 10 minutes. That sounds like a good game. WASD, shift, click, space. If you find a time stop thing, you can interact with hexagonal pads on the floor to change your respawn point. This is necessary to solve one of the puzzles. Okay. The music will desync from the cycle if you focus away from the tab the game is running in. Cool. Made in Unity. Okay. Yeah, let's give this one a go, actually. Resonance. Sounds interesting. Just gotta make sure. Yeah, no one else has played it. I mean, I pretty much played twice as many games as Tim and Jan combined. Resonance, like that. Let's go ahead and download it. It actually sounds... Oh, it's web game. There's no... Come on, you should always provide a proper build. Can I? Thank you. Ooh, nice intro. Yeah, that was actually a flashy intro, actually. This world is doomed. With each moment, the stars pulse, threatening to burn our land to ash. Okay. Only two remain in this land. The Mad King, who toils endlessly at the bell. And you, his only living prisoner. Awesome. A victim of his twisted paranoia. Holy shit, this is like a full-on story. As the king strikes, the bell rings out. Its resonance provides fleeting protection from the stars. Okay? But also breathes pallid life into our souls, trapping us to the periphery of... Okay. I will help you escape, sure. And in exchange, you shall free us. Okay. This sound... Reclaim the power the king stole from you. End the cycle. Break the wheel. Free us all. That was a Game of Thrones reference. Those uncultured plebeians of you. Be careful the moment you move. The security measures will activate. Okay. Listen for the bell. Everything is tied to the bell. Don't worry. I'll help you keep track. Look with the mouse. Use WASD to move. Hold shift to sprint. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Okay. So the moment I move, stuff is gonna happen. Pretty interesting that they have the... It's interesting how they actually have... Oh, come on. Ah. Okay, so it's actually timed. Cool. So you just have to go. This was made in 72 hours. Yeah, I assume... Yeah. I see. So... When did they activate? There we go. Yeah, I'm actually impressed. So... Stop. I could have gone further, but I don't want to risk it. Holy shit. This must have been... This is Unity game? I assume these devs weren't sleeping for 72 hours. Probably right, yeah. Cause holy crap. Yeah, it actually does look a lot like the Source engine. I'm gonna go this way instead. Okay, so this thing that I can activate with space, my eyes. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. Oh my god. That's a nice way to introduce the time stopping. Looks like Hazel engine. I mean, there's a lot of bloom. So I can stop time, then run. That's a really interesting mechanic. Store the resonance. Whoa. So next 10 seconds, is that gonna activate? And this gonna close? Wait, what? What's happening? Oh, the light. If you haven't started watching it, House of the Dragon is fucking great. I watched the first episode. I have yet to watch the rest, even though I did think the first episode was great. Matt Smith is always a bonus. Yeah, the effect. So idea is you stop time when... Oh my god. This almost looked like a... man, what's it called? I think it's like sepia or something. Inverse color effect. Yeah. Jesus. Okay, now basically just go straight. Turn on the button. Man, this is actually quite a interesting game. Okay. Whoa. They made this in 72 hours, whereas we made something inherently not this cool. I think this is actually super awesome. So... Ah, I see. Clever. You basically have to die. Music's also fitting. Yeah. Stop time. Run on through. Flip power on and run out. Hey, nice. Oh, come on. You basically need to... There we go. You don't get on... But... Oh. Oh, I'm stupid. Need to do that first. That's the bell then, I guess. What's up, Tony? Oh, we got this puzzle. So that activates... So do I just basically have to run around like crazy? So basically do this, stop time, run like crazy and try and get all of them before the 10 seconds run out? No. Ah, okay. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Or... Did I get that right? I can't help but notice how the sound design gives you the same liminal space feeling of Portal. Yeah. Okay, so I think... Yeah, I have to basically run around and activate all of them. Hopefully I got that. Oh, I probably didn't. I'm doing something right, I guess? Thank God I don't have to fix this animation in Unity. Woo! Awesome. Whoa. That's bright. Made it in 3 days, yeah. Holy crap. Jake Shields and Mike Crawford. Dude got flashbang. Yeah. Damn. The bell rang 40 times before the king was put to rest. Okay. Got it. Damn. That was quite a fun game, actually. Definitely the kind of game that, yeah, the bloom. I like the bloom. Definitely feels like the kind of game that they could just keep working on. Overall, I feel like there could definitely have been more puzzles, but I think they prioritized having just a beautiful looking game, which they definitely achieved. I think overall a 3.5. It was very fun, had very interesting mechanics. Give it a 4. Innovation. I mean, the mechanic definitely super interesting. Also, the fact that you actually had to die to get into a particular place. Adventure, puzzle, horror. Well, I mean, the lowest cycle count I've ever gotten is 18. I got 40. I guess that was on my first playthrough, though. I think innovation, probably a 3. Theme, yeah, I think it was a good interpretation of the theme, actually. And I loved how you basically had to time things based on the cycle. 3.5 for that. Graphics was actually pretty nice, pretty good looking. I was not like AAA, but it's a game jam, so audio, I like the audio design. Of all the themes it could have been, it definitely was a theme. Yeah, right about that. The audio actually felt like it was kind of a big strong point for the game. Let's give that a 4.5. Humor, I mean, it's, I guess I could give it a 2. The kind of intro backstory was, had some fun elements to it, I guess. Sure. Mood, definitely at least a 4. It's a not available option. But I mean, if you don't, yeah. Yeah, I actually like it. They haven't received enough ratings to actually get us to actually score. That's interesting. Looks a little bit too dark. I don't know. I kind of felt like that was part of the point. Move a cube, yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it was very interesting. Just checked out Dichotomy reviews, and oof, someone had the Hazel crashing. What? What do you mean? Which one? You mean this one? Yeah, I'm gonna probably blame this on them. Like faulting application name, faulting module name, what? Like this is, like we have literally never seen this. Could not load sound back. And like no clue what's up with that. Because the sound back definitely exists. It's Windows event. Yeah, like I know it's the Windows event viewer, but still like I guess that's what you get from from writing asset packaging in 2 days. No, no, no. The sound bank has been in for a lot longer than 2 days. That was Jay did that. I think uh, like a week before. But either way, it shouldn't have been an issue because we shipped the sound bank. So unless the person in question did something stupid, yeah. I don't know. Did you guys think this game was too dark? I mean, it was dark. GPU usage issue like 95%. I assume it won't be fixed for a long time. No, I think Jan's working on that. He's pretty much working on the because we're currently like GPU bound entirely, and he is working on fixing that because the CPU is basically having to wait on my machine like 5 milliseconds for the GPU, which isn't great. And there's not a lot of heavy graphics. Yeah, we probably have a lot of stuff to refactor. Okay. I should really rewrite the entire engine. No. That's how you make no progress at all. Like you see people on Discord who's like rewritten the engines like 70 times and haven't made a game, including Daniel. What's up, Daniel? The puzzles weren't actually that interesting, I think. The one interesting puzzle that I found was the one where we had to set our checkpoint on the other side and then die to get into that room. Truth tables are sick. Okay. And the final puzzle with the bell and what I assume was the king, I think that would have been really interesting if I knew what the hell was going on. Because I didn't know anything about what was happening. Like, I was just pushing buttons randomly, and it worked. So... a bit bare bones. Just a quick question. I don't know if you know the answer. When I open an audio graph, Hazel crashes immediately. Well, Knusp, I don't really know anything that much about the audio system, but I haven't had that in a while, I don't think. If we try and just making a sound graph. I mean, it opens for me, so I don't know why it would be crashing. Does it like crash immediately even for a new sound graph that you just created? So it only works on Windows 10. I have Windows 11, not 10, and it works for me. Windows 7. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, Knusp. You should definitely have VSync on, but yeah, the GPU usage is pretty high right now. Yeah, honestly, Knusp, without seeing the actual error log, I don't know what could be wrong, because it works on my machine. Yeah, do you know if any other games for London were made in Hazel? Ooh, I hope so, but I doubt it. Like, I actually doubt that a lot, but it would have been cool. Although they would have had to ship a game without actually being able to package it properly. So, yeah. Remind Dan what you said about making games and rewrites. Yeah, basically Tony said that Jan should basically just rewrite Hazel. And I said that's how you don't get stuff done, by just rewriting it. And I said we see a lot of people on Discord who's rewritten their engines quite a few times. And they haven't like made any games with them. And then Fuse came to mind. Even though I think you've only like, it's the second version of the engine, I think. So that's not as bad as some of the people I've seen. Because some of the people have been rewriting the same engine for like 6 years. And why? If you're gonna make an engine and make a game with it, instead of rewriting it all the time. If you're still alive, yeah, second version, yeah. Yeah, and I think like if you rewrite it once, that's fine. I don't think that's too much. I find it kind of amusing that most Windows 10 centric devs don't use a single feature that requires Windows 10. Your manual packaging game binary into zip, it's quite easy to automate in the engine using ziplib. No, it's not, because we actually have to copy very specific files around. And yes, we could do that through code, but it's a lot more complicated than just taking a bunch of stuff and putting it in a zip, sadly. But Jan has said he do want to improve the packaging workflow at some point, because right now it's a bit too bothersome. Like the last few hours of the jam, we were basically just repackaging the game multiple times to test it. It was interesting. The time stopping mechanic was a nice touch. The biggest was the final puzzle with the bow. I didn't really understand what I was supposed to do. I just pushed buttons randomly and it worked. So it would have been nice if there'd been some way of explaining what you were actually supposed to do for that puzzle. Really liked the graphics. Although I think it was slightly too dark at times. So Hazel doesn't support Windows 7 at all. No, Hazel doesn't support Windows 7 at all. Because, first of all, if you're still using Windows 7, you really shouldn't be doing that. Windows 7 has been deprecated for a long time. Windows 7 has been deprecated for years. So why would we support it? If we go to Steam, first of all, where is it? Steam platform survey. Let's take a look at how many Steam users actually use Windows 7. 0.12% of Steam users are using Windows 7. yeah, those 3 million users really should upgrade. Okay. Like, if we look on from that point of view, it's more beneficial to support Mac and Linux. All right, so Windows 7 never going to be supported. Neither is going to Windows 8. Windows 8 won't be supported. Windows 10, Windows 11, we support those. And eventually we're going to support the Switch, probably. And Linux, we'll see. Like, if you look at... Let's take a look at Windows 7 here. On Wikipedia. Although, let's not do the Swedish version, let's do this one. Final release. 2011. 11 years ago was the final release for Windows 7. And I think... support was ended in 2020. There's no point in supporting it. Yeah, I know Windows 11 deprecates hardware from 2017 because you have to have what was it called? Version 2 of some CPU feature. Yeah, I mean, you can't get around it. A register tweak will literally let you run Windows 11 on anything, pretty much. Also, you know, Hazel doesn't even compile on Windows 7. We literally tried, okay? We had a user who wanted to run it on Windows 7 and it didn't compile because some API has changed since then, and that basically caused Hazel to not run. So we're not going to be bothering supporting 2.8% of users on Steam. Okay? It's better to just support Windows 10 and Windows 11, which has literally, like, combined 90% of people using it. Those damn 2.8%. Yeah. Yeah. I really do not see why people would use Windows 7 still. Like, seriously. Windows 11 is perfectly fine. Windows 10 was annoying at times, but still. Like, if you even care the slightest about your own security, you definitely want to upgrade. You do that, Tinspin, that's your choice. Just don't come complaining to us that we're not going to support Windows 7. But you, do you. You could always, you know, make Hazel work on Windows 7 yourself. That's also an option. That's why we provide Source, even though you do have to pay for it. Like, look at Emily on the Discord server, who wanted Hazel to work on Linux. And instead of begging us to do it, Emily decided to do it herself. Yeah. Like, that's absolutely a thing you can do. If you really, really want to use Hazel, sure. Port it to Windows 7. But we will not be maintaining support. Either way, Resonance, really good game. I actually really enjoyed that. Even though I didn't understand the final puzzle. I just beat it by randomly pushing buttons. The Dawn looks like a shooter that actually has a nice thing. It's a robot shooter, just like the game I played yesterday. The gunslinger discovers he has a strange shotgun of gunpowder, getting stuck in an eternal cycle. He trains to use his reflective ability, defeat the robots and end the war. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at The Dawn. Game Jolt. I don't like it, it's new. Download. Okay. Interesting. The Dawn. Yes, hello. Finish. Thank you. Finally. Jesus. The Dawn. Okay, that's a lot of files in there. Do you actually have to... Is that Python? Okay, first of all, why do they need to ship literally all of these files? Not... Because I played an SDL game, a couple SDL games yesterday, and yeah. I mean, it's clearly not a virus. So, I don't trust other people. Okay. Let's give it a run. 82 megs just for the exe. Okay. Well, first thing I'm noticing, there's no audio on the main menu. Hopefully, no, this is the virus you compile yourself. Hopefully there's actually audio in-game. Because if it's not, and we have a repeat of yesterday, there was audio, and I instantly died, I think. Let's lower that. Jesus Christ. Okay. Do I just instantly die? What is this game? Also, yeah, it was lagging. Well, arrows on the. Yeah, I saw there were arrows on the floor. The purpose of them being something, I guess. Oh, gear. I'm not picking it up. Okay, so it's time. Maybe. Wow. Okay, yeah. Okay. Um. Can I, like. Alright, whatever. I'm done. What on earth was that game? A lot of problems with it. Yeah. I mean, the music on occasion, like occasionally it was kind of epic, but holy crap, the lag. I have a 3070 along with an AMD Ryzen G7 or something. Um, and it was lagging like crazy. Not sure what those enemies were supposed to be. Because I don't think I was taking damage. I'm gonna check real quick. Because, yeah, and there were, I guess. Wait. Okay. They haven't actually clamped the mouse rotation or the camera rotation, so I can just turn the camera upside down. It was fun overall 1. But here's the thing. Stay with me for a second. What are these things? Aside from lag machines. Like, they're lagging me like crazy, but there's no health. I'm not taking damage from them. But I can shoot them, I guess. Let's see. Whole thing was a bit chaotic from the start. It could use a slower build-up. Yeah. From watching the post while it was in development, if I could add one thing, it would be nice fat explosion when you fire the shotgun. Yeah, that was actually kind of disappointing. The shotgun. Where's the dot for aiming? Was there one? I didn't notice one. I was kind of just blasting and hitting. I mean, yeah. Okay, so there's no dot, but there is a triangle, I guess. Also, the shotgun sound, come on, it's weak. It's like, that sounds worse. It sounds a lot like the shotgun from, no, not the shotgun, the, oh, what's it called? Like the varmint rifle that you get in Fallout 3 at the beginning. But I would have liked it just a, proper Graphics actually look nice. Yeah. Enemies. I mean, they weren't enemies. Like, were I was stood in those things and they weren't damaging me. Like, I don't mind the fact that it was chaotic, but yeah, um, I mean that. Like, I don't mind the fact that it was chaotic, right? More from me. Well, yeah, but also it seemed. Yeah, it was very laggy, sadly. Which is. Uh, okay, here's the thing. I think these people, instead of being honest and providing constructive criticism, I think maybe what they're trying to do is just kiss ass, basically. Um, pardon my French. So that this person will give them good reviews. Which, yeah, that's a strategy you can use, but it won't help anyone. You know, if you tell someone that their garbage is good, they're gonna keep making garbage, right? If you're being constructive about it and providing good criticism and telling them what you didn't like and why you didn't like it, then they can get better, right? And also, I didn't understand the enemies at all. Like, I don't, I don't think they did anything to me. I wasn't dying from them. I was just, well, I mean, my computer was dying from them, but I wasn't. Let's rate it. Okay, overall, I think one. Yeah, to be honest, there's not much there to actually save it, in terms of playability at the moment, because it was lagging. It didn't make any sense because the enemies weren't there. Like they were there, but they weren't doing anything. What was the 10-second thing in it? That's like time, right? So I think if you run out of time, you die. Alfredo Hack, thank you so much for following. Let's actually check what happens when time runs out. I think you just restart. Yeah, you just restart. You restart, and in order to keep playing longer, you pick up these hourglasses that give you 10 seconds. Or sets the timer back to 10 seconds, I guess. Yeah, honestly, I can't give it more than a 1. The lag, the camera not being clamped, come on, that's super easy to do, okay? And the fact that the enemies didn't really seem to be doing anything except from murdering my computer, which might be the purpose, I don't know. Also, like, there was what looked like a weapon that I could pick up, except I couldn't pick it up. And there was no ammo counter, so I don't think I would have run out of ammo. Fun, 1. Innovation, 1. Theme. I mean, it did have a 10-second timer. What's the GPU usage? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's making my computer die. Let's have a look. So I'm currently sitting at around 17% base load. Hit play. Let's take a look. %. Yeah, it's not going above 30%. And my CPU and my RAM's not even close to being maximized. So I don't understand why it would be lagging like that. I mean, I didn't really notice that much lag this time, but I definitely noticed lag. On the first go through. Graphics, I mean, they weren't amazing, but this guy had at least got arms and like an actual shotgun model. So I'll give 2 for that. Audio was the most annoying thing I've ever heard. Humor, mood, yeah. I'm sorry, I just can't give more than this. I'm gonna head to the bathroom real quick, and then I'll write an actual review when I get back. I'm back. Um, all right, let's write a review. I'm back up there. Well, you can actually make that jokes because you have an actual child. So yeah, I suppose I'll allow it. Definitely not an awesome game. I mean, the thing is, it wasn't like awful, but it wasn't good. Hi, Daniel Geyser. Hi, Daniel. Vsauce here, or Vsauce Michael here, I guess, is the phrase. Okay. Is there anything I can say about it that's actually good? I think the like bad, yes, but not awful. Like I played games yesterday that were far worse than this. Okay. I mean, I did like the fact that they actually went to the extent of having an actual gun model. I can appreciate that. That's about it, to be honest. It's better than an EA game. What are my thoughts? Oh, they actually support Markdown. Question is, do they support the stars for italic? Probably. better than the Elder Scrolls Oblivion first demo. I've never actually seen the original demo of it. I know that like I quite like the actual full game, but haven't seen the first demo. Is it bad? You didn't waste anything. Take shower and work more and lose brain cell. Sounds good, Tony. Have a nice shower. So you guys can probably barely hear the music. Because the game music was... Well, the game music was too loud. I actually need to check. Fallout 3. Varmint rifle sound. Kind of wanted just the sound, but I think if I remember what that sounds like, I think it sounded a lot like that. Unsatisfying, dissatisfying. What's the actual correct? Yeah, I guess. It really would have been from a proper shotgun explosion sound. The sound the enemies made was became very annoying after a short period. Man, I'm just out of curiosity, what's the best feature for Windows 10? Hazel's not taking advantage of a specific feature of Windows 10, okay? You don't, like a game engine rarely takes advantage of a specific OS feature. But the actual underlying Windows API has changed from Windows 7 to Windows 10 so that Hazel no longer compiles on Windows 7. Okay? You know, a game engine doesn't have to take advantage of a specific feature of an OS just to be on that OS. Okay? Most game engines wouldn't be on any platform in that case. If you want Windows 7 support, go ahead and port the engine to Windows 7 yourself. Okay, we have people porting it to Linux because they wanted Linux, and we're not going to support Linux officially. Port Fuse to Alexa. You could compile for Windows 7 because those binaries work on Windows 10. Yeah, they would, but you wouldn't. If they're compiled for Windows 7, there's basically less. I think basically the reason Windows 7 binaries work on Windows 10 is because of backwards compatibility from Microsoft. They have basically a compatibility layer that means you can run Windows XP programs on Windows 10. That doesn't mean you should, okay? We're not gonna sacrifice that. We're not gonna sacrifice the native performance that we get from compiling and running on Windows 10 for Windows 10 just to support a platform that had its last update 11 years ago. Okay? But like, okay, according to your logic, what feature would we take advantage of from Windows 7? What does Windows 7 provide that we would need from Windows 7 specifically? That works both ways. Pretty sure Hazel is using Windows.h, for example, as any other engine, but the implementation specs differ on different OS. Yeah, it does. Like, we're not gonna support Windows 7. Windows 7 has a lot of features that improves XP. Yeah, but we're not targeting Windows XP. Okay. Windows 10 has a lot of features that that improves upon Windows 7. So does Windows 11. Okay. Like, the argument doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. No, Tinspin, Windows 10 and Windows 11 have added quite a lot on the hood. Okay. The graphics weren't half bad. Like, the graphics I could have lived with if the game had been good. You want me to name a feature that isn't on Windows 7 that is on Windows 10 or 11? Yeah, direct storage, I think. If I'm not wrong, direct storage, for an example, is something that is only available with, I don't know, that could be on Windows 7 as well. Does Windows 7 have direct storage? Yep, direct storage. That's a feature. Well, an API, I guess. That isn't available on Windows 7, but is available on Windows 10. Yeah, DirectX 12 Ultimate only. Like, obviously, we're not taking advantage of that, but that's a feature. That isn't on Windows 7, because Windows 7 doesn't have DX12, I don't think. So argument done and over. We're not supporting Windows 7, accept that, move on. Or port it yourself. Yeah, Windows 7 is basically dead. It's not supported by Microsoft anymore. Why would we support a dead platform? Yeah. It's like saying, oh, well, you should support Windows XP because, I don't know, maybe 10,000 people use that still because they refuse to upgrade. No. Um, Apparently the truth table for a full add requires 704 bytes in Java code I wrote. No idea what the truth table is. Truth table is a table that you can use to look up outputs for a specific set of inputs. Okay. Ended on a good note. Like, these people, I'm pretty sure, are just kissing ass. Right? Like, the game wasn't terrible at all. Well, it wasn't amazing, but like, if it's the guy's first game, then yeah, I can accept that. Hazel will probably never support Android. Okay, not unless we get a big team to maintain it. Right now, platform support is Windows 10, Windows 11, and the next platform that we're officially going to be supporting is going to be the Nintendo Switch at some point in the future. Because we can use Vulkan for that, and yeah, we can use Vulkan for Android as well, but we're not interested in making mobile games. I had to literally write a separate library with a single clause to be able to calculate the total size of an object. Awesome. Alright, whatever, I'll publish it. Because, like, I think this is fairly... like... constructive. I don't know. If the enemies were supposed to damage me, there really should have been some clear indicator that this was happening. Sound could have used quite a bit more work, I think. The shotgun sound was very unsatisfying. It really would have benefited from a proper shotgun explosion sound. Constructive. Also, the sound the enemies made became very annoying after a short period, so that could have either used some work or fewer enemies from the start. The graphics weren't half bad. Also, I noticed the camera rotation. The camera rotation wasn't clamped. Yeah. Sure. That's constructive enough, I think. Did I give it a 1 overall? Yeah, I did. Writing a whole report for feedback. Well, no, because, like, I want to be constructive and I want to kind of let them know what I thought about the different things, right? These are the issues I found. So, and I really want to try and just be as constructive about it as I can. Because I don't think there's any reason in providing feedback if you're not going to be constructive, and there's no point in providing feedback if you're not going to be honest about your opinion as well. Which I don't think most of the people there were. But if it's the guy's first game, it was still... Game sucks, try again. Like, if it was his first game, then yeah, for his first game, it would have been fine. Actually... Okay, it's the first game in the jam, so I'm guessing it was their first ever game. Yeah, there's always going to be stuff to work on. What's the ratings for Dichotomy? 25 overall, 25, 23 audio, 20 humor, 24 mood. I think it's pretty alright, actually. May have a signature. Okay, whatever. Yeah, exactly like you said, Daniel, there will always be... I don't know what, like, 25, I don't know, like, I don't think there's a max. It's just because you give 5-star ratings. So I guess, technically, 5 people could have rated it 5 stars. Right? But I don't think there's, like, a max. It's just whoever gets the highest at the end wins that category. You can't actually like see who has actually rated the game. What is the highest? I don't know that I can actually... Like, you can't filter to see that. But I guess if we're checking like smart, I can't see. I can see how many ratings they have given, and I can see how many ratings they have received. That's it. I can't see what their actual rating is right now, which I think is actually a good system, because that encourages people to be honest about their reviews. Yeah, I think that's really good, because you can imagine if people are seeing a game that's super well rated, they're just gonna go looking for it and play that and then rate it good, as opposed to actually looking through the games and just playing it and getting an opinion of their own. Oh yeah, once the timer ends, so in 15 days, we can see like who rated what. Yeah, I mean, you can read the reviews, but I don't know. I don't generally trust the reviews from other people when I'm looking at someone else's game. Because like with the game that we just checked, everyone was saying, awesome game, amazing game. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Because not everyone's honest about their reviews. That's something you really have to keep in mind. A lot of people, generally speaking, just give good reviews so they'll themselves get good reviews, which kind of defeats the purpose of the review system, I think. Because, like, when people leave reviews on Dichotomy, I trust that they're honest about it, and I trust that they'll let us know if there's anything they feel needs work. Which just makes it better for us, because then we can improve upon that for the next game. It's annoying to get a bunch of comments saying nice game and then finding out that the average score is low. Yeah, like the feedbacks are meant to be useful. That's the entire point. If they're not useful, there's no point in leaving a review. Which is why I always try to be honest about my reviews. And also be constructive. stranded in Mars. You inside Mars? KSS generation. Oh wow. Delta shift. That looks... Wow. This looks very interesting. Delta shift, you can walk, run, slide, dash, and wall run in order to finish this race against gravity. Every 10 seconds, gravity shifts to the right. Holy shit, that's an interesting mechanic. Damn. So like, effectively, the entire world just... Well, I guess... No. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it goes like this every 10 seconds. Holy crap. And also, I try not to read reviews before I play the game myself. Generally speaking. That one, I guess. Should really remove the second link once they've updated, but that's whatever. Delta shift. Okay, so we have an Unreal Engine game. Awesome. Okay. Just hoping there's actually good audio in this. Ooh. Hang on. Can I get a show of hands who actually bought WinRAR? Is this too loud? The music? I think it's a bit too loud. There are no music slider? Alright. Damn. I mean... Rebindable keys? Interesting. Wait. Shift. No. I don't know. Control? Yeah, it's bopping. I don't like the fact that it restarts the music when you do that. Also, the input binding seemed a bit weird. Okay, go for normal and see how much I suck. Right. Okay, I can climb on walls. I can... Oh, damn! You can slide under walls and jump. Wait, what? Many traps will hinder your way. Okay, spikes, avoid them. The gravity is primary. This button can inverse it. Oh, wow. can obstruct you or even crush you. Okay. Every 10 seconds the gravity changes. Yeah, that's alright. Let's give it a go. Oh, I forgot about sprinting. Whoa. Okay, I will say that the movement feels sluggish. Okay. The movement felt really sluggish. Oh, shit. Oh, come on. Yeah, the movement feels weird. Burn. Sure. Burn. This is unreal. Yeah, it feels like sort of Mirror's Edge almost. But probably not as good quality. Whoa. The gravity shifting is really interesting and quite weird. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm not sure how well it fits. And I don't know how you're supposed to make this in like 10 seconds. Well, you're not supposed to make it in 10 seconds. You're supposed to make it in like 55 in my case. So did I make it? Okay, I don't know what the goal was. Vague Lobster, what's up? Can I say this game is very bad for people that is prone to get motion sickness? Ah, sorry about that. Yeah. I'll try playing it one more time on the easy difficulty. Except I can't. Yeah, let me do this. Menu. No, come on. There's no escape, doesn't do anything. Let me just. All right, you know what? No, I'm done. I was gonna play it one more time and then basically let you know when it was done, but yeah, no. I think I got the gist of it, and to be honest, like the movement felt very not good. To be honest, I'm actually feeling a bit sick to my stomach now. Okay. I will say this game could be so much fun to play if the movement was a bit nicer. The movement felt very sluggish overall. Yeah, I think overall I'm gonna give it a decent score because I think it could be a lot of fun. Like the gravity shifting adds quite a lot of depth to it. It makes it confusing as hell, but I kind of like that actually. To be honest, the only thing I can really complain about is the movement. I'll give this a 3.5 overall because movement in this kind of game is incredibly important. If the movement in this sort of parkour speedrun game doesn't feel good, that's a huge problem for it. Fun, wasn't actually too much fun. It wasn't boring, it was kind of fun, but it was made worse by just the movement. So I'll give that a 3. Innovation. Gravity shifting is kind of innovative, but other than that, it's just a speedrun. Basically, it's a Mirror's Edge clone, effectively. 2.5. 2. Theme, yeah. I think they took the theme, did something interesting with it. 3.5. Mood. Why did they not enter into the audio category? They had pretty good music. If they'd been entered into the audio category, I would definitely have given them a high rating on it, because that music was bopping. Mood, I don't know, 2. I don't know. I actually feel kind of sick to my stomach now. Yeah. Uh, sluggish. Still don't know how to spell nauseous. Okay. Can you send a GitHub link in chat? Depends on what it is, I guess. Is it for what you and Tinspin were talking about? Because if that's the case, then yeah, you can do it. That's all right. Three 3.5. All right. I think we have time for another game. Well, maybe two, depending on how much time I spend in each game. Roblox to move. Not the best description. And that's a 2D game. Oh, damn. Look at this. So it's a web game. I'm gonna open it to see what's up. Nah. Oh. I don't know. Let's take a look at some of the people who reviewed our game. See if they've done anything. Wow, they've actually been in a lot of jams. Persistence, which it's 2D. I'd like to do a 3D game. No games. Midnight Game Child. That Game Boy clone. This sounds like a very interesting game. Let's grab it. Midnight Game Child. Did not want to open Unreal. This another Godot? Yes, it is. All right, let's give the Midnight Game Child game a go. Space, confirm selection. Oh, the text is barely readable. Up and down arrows, change selection. F11 to full screen. All right, let's do that. There we go. Play with sound. Yeah, I have sound.
Time for bed, Jimmy. Pause your game thing or something.
Z.
Now, put it away somewhere.
X to hide.
All right, son. Lie in your bed.
C.
Don't forget to switch your lamp off.
Oh god. CX. CV. Probably, yeah.
Good night, child.
Okay. Okay, this is gonna be. Oh, and I have to do W. Oh, okay, this is gonna be complicated. Oh, is Peep taking a look? Okay. This is interesting. Damn it.
I can hear you, kiddo. Last chance.
Goddamn. Okay, this is a difficult game. I think it's sort of a horror game. Okay, so standing outside. It's not actually that scary, it's just... It's just a matter of timing it correctly. Okay. It's an interesting concept. Reminds me of my childhood. Yeah. Close the damn door. Like, as long as you're patient. I don't think it's... And whenever he stands outdoor, just do Z, X, C, V in order. And you're good. Damn. You really do need to be patient. Kind of want to know what happens if I get caught. Come on. I do think this sort of game really would have benefited from not having the 10-second limitation. But it is quite an interesting game. Oh. Alright, let's see what happens if I get caught. I don't think... What the hell?
Time for bed, Jimmy. Pause your game thing or something.
What the actual shit was that? Alright, how do I... Oh... What's up, Tony? Okay, how do I actually... There we go. That was so bizarre. I mean, it's not horror at all, because I was never scared, but I don't think it was that hard to figure out the controls. It was just a matter of, like, getting used to doing them in order. Oh, did you miss it, Tony? If you missed it, I can give it a play it for a little bit. If you want. Yeah, let's show Tony. I actually think it's quite an interesting game. Alright, so it's called Midnight Game Child. Space was it?
Time for bed, Jimmy.
Right, and then you
Pause that game thingy and put it away.
need to basically keep...
Oi, turn that thing off and go to sleep. All right, son. Lie in your bed. Don't forget to switch your lamp off. Good night, child.
So, he goes away. And I need to play.
I'm warning you, go to sleep.
Every 10 seconds it comes around. So I thought it was quite interesting. And then if I get caught... Wait.
I can hear you, kiddo. Last chance.
It would actually be interesting to see how far I can get in this game at some point. I'm not gonna bother doing it on stream. This happens.
Time for bed.
Overall, I think it's quite interesting. It's a pretty well-made game. I think I'm gonna give that a 4 actually. For what it is, it's very well made. Fun. Yeah, I think that deserves a 4 for fun, because it was quite fun. Innovation. Well, 2.5. Let's not be too generous. I'm kidding, by the way. Innovation 3.5. It was actually, well, no, I think I'm gonna give that a 4 on innovation, because it was quite an innovative game. Theme. Yeah, I think it did a good job adapting the theme. Graphics. The game child. It's actually pretty well made. Like, the overall graphics doesn't really matter, but the actual game child looks pretty good. Even though it's like low-res graphics. 2.5. Humor. Oh, I think it was hilarious. Especially when you get caught. Mood. Yeah. I'm really happy about that, actually. So I gave that, what, a 4 overall? All right. Oh, we got a Windows 7 user. Topical. Um, I'm actually gonna check something. Compatibility mode. Compatibility mode. Because I'm actually curious if like Windows 7 has a compatibility mode for like Windows 10. I don't think it does. Have a... I don't think it does. Yeah. I'm probably gonna let Jan answer that because I think he may do a better job at answering than I would. Alright. Do I do one more game before heading out? I don't know. If I find something that's super eye-catching, then yeah, I can play it. Resonance. Very good game. Quite liked it. Flex Squad. Third legendary entry. Survive for 10 seconds, receive combat rewards, customize your squad as needed. Not my kind of game. Kind of want to find games that I would personally want to play in like my free time, not just like for the sake of rating. And I try to do that. In season, no, not the kind of game I'd play. The thing is, some of these thumbnails are just not very good at telling the actual game. Is this a horror game? Fight off your negative thoughts and become a better person. No. Don't fight off your negative thoughts. Use Hazel and become a better person. Come on, people. We've established this. Waves spawn every 10 seconds. Yeah, very common take on the theme, I think. You only have a handgun, survive as long as you can, so I'm guessing you have like limited ammo. Oh, this is a big bug for them, but which were made in advance. All code and assets were made for the jam. All sound effects and music were also created during the 3 days, including a whole bunch of Foley used throughout the soundscape. 2-man team. Good job in that case, I think. You know what? Yeah, I want to play this. Let's play Bad Thoughts, and then I'll head out after that. By J. Housetrap Charlie and Housetrap J. Okay. Unzip run. Yeah, that tends to be how you play these games. Unity. most common engine here, I think. Okay, let's give it a run. That's very loud. Okay. You must aim before you can shoot. So, okay, so this feels very Doom inspired. Boss? A boss? Oh. Damn. Holy crap. This feels very much Doom inspired. The gun actually doesn't feel that good to use, I will say, because it's wobbling all over the place. Another boss? What's here? Nothing. Okay. Now it feels like Doom. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is actually quite a fun game. What? I'm sorry, what? Dude got tiny. Yeah. Like, the gunplay does feel kind of not super nice with the moving from side to side. Ah, crap. A boss. Resident Evil, probably. Where you need to shoot zombie 30 times. Yeah. Yeah, I really do wish that Resident Evil had made it so, like, headshots just insta-kill zombies. Oh, health pack. Nice. Didn't realize. Another health pack. Don't think I actually got it. Is there anything preventing me from camping out here? Yeah, they're gonna be spawning up there. Health pack, health pack, health pack. Come on, where is it? Give it to me. Don't think I'm gonna... Oh, nice. Oh, that's a lot of them. Another boss. Where? Not here. Good. There he is. Oh, crap. Oh, there's a health pack. I want it. Resident Evil is more based on scriptings and animation combo. Yeah, that's true. Got another boss. I don't know, it's not actually feeling too difficult. Can't wait for the remake of Resident Evil 4, yeah. Oh crap, that's a lot of them. Okay, all of a sudden it got very difficult. Because there's just so many. I mean, it's like, it got kind of hairy there for a moment, but honestly, overall, this feels a bit too easy, actually. Like, I've been surviving for almost 400 seconds now. No problem. I say as I'm almost dead. Oh, we got a boss. Alright, I'm just gonna die, I think. Oh. Hold on, what? What is that? It went from easy to insta-death. Damn. Like, okay. So basically my feeling of this is this dude spawns in after 400 seconds, which is all right, 6.5, almost 7 minutes. I kind of think that, I mean, it might have been because I was close to death already, and that dude just insta killed me. But honestly, cannot be killed. Oh, I was trying to kill this dude when all I had to do was really just run away. Boss, I spawn, you die. I mean, pretty much, yeah. That's how it went. I think it's a really fun game, but it did actually feel a bit too easy for the most part. I think the only reason I like insta died from this dude was because I was already at low health because I was trying to kill this dude who can't be killed. So I was taking damage from it. But I think overall it was actually a lot of fun. I think that's one of the higher quality games I've played. So I'll give him a 4.5 overall, actually, because that was quite fun. Although the gunplay, well, no, let's actually take that down to 4 because the gunplay was I don't know. I didn't like the fact that the gun was like going like this constantly, right? But I could manage it. Fun? Yeah, I think it was quite a bit of fun actually. Innovation? Yeah. Theme? How did the theme play into this? Waves spawn every 10 seconds. Okay. Not super creative with the theme, but it's I think it's a common way for people to make a game with this theme. It's just make it wave based, 10 seconds, new wave. So I'm gonna give that 2.5 for the theme because the theme wasn't. They could have done something a bit more creative with it, I think. Graphics. I like the graphics, except for the kind of static that I was getting in the main menu. In the main menu, the static effect didn't look that good. I think the 10 seconds should be a core game mechanic in these games. Yeah. Yeah, to be honest, it does feel kind of cheap. What would you say is innovative about it? Just the sheer concept, right? I mean, I don't know if that's actually innovative. I haven't played any games where it's like you're fighting off bad thoughts or whatever, but I guess there's probably a lot of games like that. I mean, it's hard to say exactly what's innovative about any game. But the overall concept felt innovative to me. Yeah, I think it was a pretty good game overall. Graphics, obviously, I like them. I think it was kind of creative to go with that kind of style. Probably a 3. Audio. I mean, the audio didn't feel. Well, actually, the fact that the spheres and enemies in general were just throwing insults at me the whole time, I do quite like. But the problem was I couldn't hear what they said most of the time, which I kind of would have liked to. But I'll give it a 3. I would have given it like a 4 if I could have actually heard the insults. Humor. I mean, it's not a humoristic game. Don't need to rate it for humor. In fact, they should probably opted out of it. Mood. Yeah, I like the mood of it. 3.5. Yeah. I wish the aiming was a bit more snappy, not so wobbly. That's my thought as well. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I was getting at, Tony. Because, like, it's a game where you're fighting off the bad thoughts. And so, if you can't hear the insults, then do you really have a game? No, I mean, you do, but like, I think if the insults would have been a bit more audible, that would have been really good. Really enjoyed the game. Felt a lot like Doom. Don't need to necessarily specify that. I will. My 2 suggestions would be to make the gun or the aiming a bit less wobbly. As well as making the insults a bit more audible. I really wanted to hear what they were actually saying. Yeah, let's do a smile. Am I a masochist? No. The Game Architect, did you play that awesome teapot game? Oh, you mean, I think this you're talking about. No. Which game are you talking about? Teapot. Haven't seen a teapot. You're a masochist because you're programmers. I don't know what you mean. Ah, that's true. Because I don't think it felt that difficult surviving 6 minutes. And like 6 minutes in that kind of game is actually quite a long time, I think. What's under the teapot? Did I play that? I don't think I did. No, I didn't. Especially because you're on the mono framework. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I haven't played this. Oh, it's your game. Okay. Yeah, I can give it a go. I have a little bit of time. Not much, though. I'll have to play that as the last game. Or 18 teapot not found. Hilarious, Tony. The real Googler was 418. I'm a teapot. Ah, yeah. Alright. And I gave that an overall of 4. So I should... Alright. Well, let's give What's Under the Teapot a go. And then after that, I'm gonna have to head out. Let's take a look. Solar project. And was this for the jam or the compo? Probably the compo, right? Tony wants me to drink water, so I have to get water. Yeah, compo, okay. So 48 hours. Oh, yeah. I think I even read that. Classic take on spot the difference. Okay, that's interesting. Click mouse on UI buttons or the game pieces. Test your performance in short-term memory and instant recall. I'm gonna suck at this. My short-term memory is awful, I think. Camera can be moved with UI joystick in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. That is an interesting way to control the camera. Aight. Peter only has 512 bytes of RAM installed in his brain. Yeah. Okay, so you can't actually download the game. That's alright. Don't mind that too much, although I do prefer having a local copy of the game, generally speaking, but that really doesn't factor in. What's in the teapot? Man, I need to get Tim and Jan to review some more games. They've done... How many is that? They've done 8 games and I've done like... way too many. I've done like 20... I've done 20 game reviews. Yeah, I did actually see like... Actually, let's try the embedding. Now rate them all. But no, I actually need them to rate some games as well. I've rated 20 games. They've rated 8 together. Although they have also been busy fixing stuff. Let's try the embedding here. Okay, first problem, doesn't fit, but that's embedding issue. What's in the teapot? This is a memory game played with intervals of 10 seconds. Is there audio in this? No. Okay. You will be shown random objects. They will be hidden. One new object will be added each round. You must guess the new addition. Couldn't make original audio in time. Yeah, that happens. Okay. Hang on. So I'll be shown some random objects. They will be hidden. And a new object will be added each round. And I have to guess the new addition. Let's just play it. See here. Oh, okay, now I got it. I get it. Well, that's the new object. And I can... Okay, but if I can move the camera around, then isn't this going to be super easy? Well, okay. So far, easy. I assume it will get a lot more difficult as time goes on. Because it's... Okay, so right now I can remember exactly what was there. And this is the new thing. Golf ball. It's this. I'm gonna turn the music back on, by the way. Well, let's see how difficult it will get once we have some more stuff. Well, it's that. So, is this endless, or is there like a fixed number of objects that can appear? I think I might want to participate on the next game jam, but I don't know. You should. It's actually a lot of fun. Oh, okay. So I think that's the new one. See, now I can see how it would get a lot more difficult if the same type of objects appear. Because then it becomes almost a layout room. You kind of have to remember the layout of it. Okay, so it's that one. Goes up to high 20s, maybe 27. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's a matter of like right now I'm just trying to remember like the actual layout of the little things. And I think it would be a teacup. The fun starts only after you come up with the game idea, which I suck at. Yeah, thankfully I have Tim, and he's awesome at coming up with game ideas. I really shouldn't move the camera, because then it becomes harder to memorize the layout. It's this teacup. He's not that great at making them. Well, I mean, he can code, but he is primarily an artist by trade. There's also a whole bar behind me. Really? It's the Ruby. I will say the camera is far too slow for my liking. Oh yeah. Damn. Okay. Okay, I think I know what was already there. Yeah, the camera is a bit too slow. Could have been a little bit faster. Dice. Yeah, this music is actually a good fit for the game. Alright. I don't know how many objects there currently are, but... keys. Oh, nice specular highlighting. Okay. Okay. Now it's getting a bit harder. Oh, time's up? Oh, yeah. I did think it was one of the keys. Okay. So how many lives do I get? You really should visualize that somehow. Greater posture check. Okay, so it's one of the teacups. It's that one. 3. Okay, yeah, you really should have displayed that somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. It is important to keep in mind that you only have 48 hours to do everything. And it's not easy to think about everything. We basically ended up having no instructions in the actual game itself for like the control scheme. I think it's these. Man, it actually does get a bit harder once you have a lot of objects. Okay. Okay, so it's one of these. I think maybe that one. Yeah. No instructions. Yeah, we ended up not having that. Although we added that in a later update. Okay, let's see. So far, I'm doing good. Only lost one life so far. But yeah. Audio and just maybe even like a simple text element to display the lives. Okay. 18 objects. Alright. Cool. I was thinking about making other games on other table, making like a memory game club thing. That could actually be quite interesting. I can definitely see like almost like a niche of people playing, like really being into that, because I know memory games are really popular with certain people. I will say, yeah, exactly. Okay. So visualizing the lives, that's obviously like a simple thing, not a big deal, I don't think. The Room, which is a puzzle game. I think I've seen that. I don't think I played it. Yeah. But okay. So I do think the camera rotation should have been a little bit faster. But that's obviously stuff you normally like be tweaking for quite a while. Displaying the number of lives left. I think once you get a lot of objects, you would basically it would obviously be a lot harder to remember everything. So I think in its current state with only 18 objects, I didn't find it too difficult to remember what was there, and I don't think I had that good of memory. Yeah, ideally you'd have it be like endless and just see how much you actually can remember, but that's obviously hard to do with a finite space. Although, I mean, yeah. All right. First of all, I'm gonna say this right now. I'm probably not the best person to actually review this. I can review it just from a game design perspective, but memory games aren't really my kind of thing, right? Overall, I think there's potential for it to be, yeah, like Foss said, later on in the game, adding in multiple objects, right? Like 2 or 3 objects, and you have to remember which ones were already there. That would definitely increase the difficulty. I think overall, for what it is, I'll probably give it like a 2 or a 2.5. There's not much there, and obviously there doesn't. I don't think there needs to be much there because it's a memory game, right? It's literally just remember. So, not my style of game, but for what it is, it was, well made, I think. Although, yeah, definitely need more stuff to make it a lot harder. Let's see, fun, again, not my kind of game. I did find that I had to concentrate right at the end. Making the camera auto-rotate possibly could be a good thing to play around with. See if it works. Again, 2.5 fun. Yeah, it was an interesting game, but not my kind of game. Innovation. I mean, I can't really... Yeah, I can't really give high for innovation because, you know, it's a memory game. It's very difficult to innovate a memory game, right? So I will give that a 1. Theme. Actually, I'm gonna see. I can't. I can't restart it. Which is a shame. But theme, I mean, as far as I understood it, every 10 seconds the teapot would hide, then it would show, hide, show, hide, show. So, yeah, I think I'll give that probably like a, I can give that a 3, because it's a pretty normal take on it, I think, which isn't a bad thing. We effectively did something similar to that, although a little bit different. Graphics. I mean, the teapot is that actually like a reflection, or is it the mesh or texture? I think overall the graphics were alright. Teapot is 418. I think I'll give a pretty medium score for that, or like an average, I guess. No, actually, I'm gonna give that higher because I did like the little models. Yeah, it's low res. Yeah, I did like the little models of the actual items. Oh yeah, that's definitely the what is it actually called? The Utah teapot. Probably is. Humor. I'm not gonna rate it on humor because it's not really a humoristic game, but it's not supposed to be. Mood. Yeah. Sure. And you did actually make sure that you weren't in the audio category, which is good. Because if you had been in the audio category here, I would probably have lowered the overall rating because there was no audio. Which, like, 48 hours, yeah, I can see. If you're not like, if you're doing it solo, that can definitely be understandable. Even though I do think audio is one of the most important parts of a game, especially in something like this where you're just looking at a teapot and trying to remember. Having a little bit of chill background music. I'm not taking more submissions. I'm actually gonna end the stream soon. Shake Timus. Although I have actually seen the decasecond, I think. Maybe not. I saw something with a similar name, I think. You want to have audio in the game, but if the time limit won't allow it, it's totally fine. Absolutely. Yeah, and like if you don't have time in the end, what's important is you have at least a game. So definitely not a problem there. That's perfectly understandable. Wow, a lot of people have actually reviewed this. Damn. But yeah, I'll leave a comment. And yeah, the audio thing's completely understandable. You didn't have enough time. It happens, right? Overall, there's not much more I can really say about it. It's a memory game. it did what it was supposed to perfectly fine. Hard work, fun game, and nice concept. Yeah, I do think it's a good concept. I'll leave a comment with the stuff I've already told you here. But yeah, overall, I think you did a pretty good job. No audio might sometimes be better. At least you can't have bad audio by not having audio. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah, because if there is bad audio, then people will definitely notice that. And I think if you don't have time to do audio, as long as you have your game, I can have some music on myself. For something like this, it's no big deal. If it's like a first-person shooter and there's no audio, I'm gonna be pissed. But if it's something like this, where you're just playing a memory game, you're looking at the same table all the time, and you're just trying to memorize what's there, put on some nice music yourself. I think it's an interesting concept. And as far as memory games go, it's a decent game. Because it is. It's not bad. Only feedback I can give is to have... Yeah, you made them yourself, most of them. That's awesome. Is to have a way of telling how many lives you have left, which I already told you. Everything else was from scratch. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I actually like the actual chair models and the textures were actually really good. I quite like that. Yeah, telling how many lives you have left. Plus maybe having a background track, and some background music. But obviously, I do understand why you didn't have that. Because yeah, you do have a time limit, and it's better to have a game with no music than no game at all, I think. And I'll actually write that here. To have a game with no music, as opposed to having no game at all. Because I think that's, yeah. Did I say anything else? Graphics look good. It did get a bit harder to memorize everything at the end, but it could really benefit from having more multiple items be added per round, at least in the later game. Yeah. All right. And I gave it 2.5 just purely because it's not really my style of game. But for what it is, it wasn't bad at all. Azuli Flame, no more submissions. I'm actually about to end the stream. So yeah, we got through a few games. Let's take a look. Ah, that's actually quite a nice scene you got there. Not bad at all. Oh wow, that's actually impressive. This image looks very close to being photorealistic. It's not quite there, but it's almost photorealistic, which I quite like. That's very nice. Very nice indeed. Damage destroyed. Ooh. Oh wow, yeah, that's amazing. You should make this into a game character, I think. That's incredible. Alright, well, we reviewed some games. Probably broke some hearts. And hopefully gave good feedback. Would be a good character for Dichotomy. Nah, we do cubes. No more. Cubes only. Well, we have a flag. And we have a swinging axe. And a bridge. So I guess we don't just do cubes. Alright, well, either way, I had a fun time. Check out Dichotomy on Dare's page if you haven't already. Give it a play, give it a rate if you want. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time, which might be maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Probably not. So maybe next week. Dichotomy 5 stars. Good Tony. Alright, well, I'm gonna head out, so have a good night. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye bye.